raised beast with laser eyes and a body that could be everywhere at once while still escaping her brother and cow. She seemed to skip with every step that morning, stopping to smell the dandelion weeds while thinking about last night and how any of what she did could be possible. She guessed maybe forest spirits, or a survival burst of ki. Her father would speak about those moments of determined focus, where a hamster could do anything they wanted with enough power. Shaking thoughts of her father out of her head, she was hopeful and cheery about where she was heading. That is, until she approaches a familiar feeling. Standing with her head down and with sheer knowing and credence. Butterscotch, under her breath, "Oh, not again. What do you want from me?" She scurries along the tree line, and jumps at every shadow that teases her fears. She finds time to gather herself behind what was left of a storage container half buried into the ground. With every exhale she expels these high-pitched whistles and screeches. She covers her mouth with both hands and looks up with doubt that she will keep hidden. She thinks it is too dangerous to come from behind her cover now. She waits in dreadful anticipation, and before she knows it, she recognizes the shift of energy. With a smooth and concentrated voice, it speaks. "Shadow Wolf, ah, she must know I mean no harm. I cannot help my appearance, small creature." Butterscotch crouched down in a weeping ball of fur. "Butterscotch, just please leave me alone, please leave me alone, please. What do you think you're doing? Back up, you crazy, you craze, what the hell are you?" The shadow wolf approaches her more closely. Butterscotch darts for the nearest barricade. She shakes and quivers in the fear she may not be able to get away again. She tries to remember the feeling it took for her to levitate before. She begins to panic and hyperventilate. She has slipped too deeply into her head. Thoughts of her father's abuse begin whirling around in her mind, and they are replaced with thoughts of what she believed this creature would do to her. Butterscotch, to herself, "Come on, B, he'll never leave if you don't make him." With a deep breath, all the memories and fears dissipate, and she is back on her feet. She turns and takes one step toward the opening of the barricade. The haunting presence meets her there. As swiftly as her decision to move came, so did confronting the beast again. They were close enough to hear each other's thoughts. In a paralyzed gaze, and without speaking, they exchanged their introductions. "Shadow Wolf, thinking out loud, I, dear child, am the answer to your most delicate questions. I am the voice under your bed when Daddy sent you to your room with no supper. And I am here now to show you why you have left Eros Castle." The creature's presence softens and his fiery appearance settles like a deep breath after running a fast race. "Butterscotch, I don't want anything from you. Except for you to tell me what you are and why you want anything to do with me." Her impatience grew into anger, and confusion still showed on her brow. How was she able to do what she had done before, to get away, defy gravity and escape three stronger components without missing a beat? She was barely able to listen to this creature. She was so in awe of herself. "Shadow Wolf, I am a force used by many among the centuries that hamsters have ruled. I am the result of a strong warrior, meeting with the magic of the underworld. Does any of this frighten you?" He spoke with a smooth tone that caught Butterscotch's attention. She was hesitant against any abrupt and loud reactions, but the wolf gained what very little trust he could through the way he spoke to Butterscotch. She still seemed very on guard, like she had to prove something in that moment while also not overstepping her safety. The situation seemed very volatile, but she was ready to hear more. She tried to play tough to see if anyone would be able to buy it. "Butterscotch, not even close. Now tell me," she said shakingly. "What do you want with me?" "Shadow Wolf, simply to escort you the rest of the way to Hedgeworth." "Butterscotch, how do you know where I am going?" "I don't even know. I just started running." She senses how she feels stronger since leaving Eros somehow. Like her body may know the way even though my mind doesn't. She questions. "Butterscotch, are you like possessing me right now or something?" Shadow Wolf, "Oh, don't flatter yourself, sweetheart. Shadow wolves don't possess hamsters, we enhance them." With that statement, he wore a smile that seemed to extend the entire length of his body. The sight of this left Butterscotch drastically unsettled. Her pupils were puny and her body shivered and looked cold. This was the time Butterscotch began to exercise trust in herself over trust in others. She gathered her wits and decided to dance with this shadow, just to get her to where she was going. As long as she kept following her feet, she felt safe. Butterscotch. Well, don't get any ideas with me. I am just looking to make a new life for myself, where I am accepted and can take care of things on my own, without the help of creepy ghost wolves. Away from power-hungry, crazed, manipulating poor excuses for hamsters. Clears throat, yeah, so no need for enhancements here. Thanks. Shadow Wolf. Oh, trust me, where we're heading, there will be plenty to take care of. Butterscotch is led through a path of villages, past what was left of old command stations, and before that, were probably functional trading posts and schools, but now have just become rusty shelter for foragers, families and different militant operations. Villages live in a suspicious peace between Eros and Hedgeworth. The territories could be split into two colonies, the Evolved and the Enchanted, and within those colonies are many territories, run by honorable representatives and sometimes not so honorable and delinquent gangs. Only stories were told about one another, and Butterscotch, being a post-war generation, didn't know what was true or fable. Shadow Wolf. So tell me, what are your thoughts on the border we're approaching? Butterscotch. What? The Enchanted Lands? Well, one time, I heard that there are wizards waiting for you at the gates to see if you're really enchanted or not, and that they turn whoever isn't enchanted into inchworms. Also, that there is a secret code, and if it is spoken, you would be accepted among them and learn their ways. Shadow Wolf. Cute. Butterscotch. I didn't say I believed it. Shadow Wolf. Well, I'll tell you one thing, there are hamsters waiting at the gate, but they look a lot more like your people. Evolved hamsters have to keep themselves protected from the advanced powers coming out of the place somehow. Butterscotch. You mean like spies? What if someone notices me? No one can notice me, my fath. Shadow Wolf. Don't fret, my pet. That is why I am here. All you have to do is be aware, and unnoticeable. Go up to the guard in blue, and say you are there to see Master Vandergaard. If anything were to waver in between those two moments, I will handle it. Butterscotch. And where will you be, home? Shadow Wolf. In the shadows, my sweet. In the shadows. Now focus, we are approaching the gate. Walk strongly on your hind, and look straight until you are looking at a guard wearing blue in the eyes. Speak as strongly as you walk, and with reason. Like you know who Vandergaard is. Even though very little do. Butterscotch stacks her weight on top of herself, she looks down and realizes she needs some more meat in her diet. Her knees start to buckle. Shadow Wolf. Now, remember. Mind Master's men. Be what you want to see. Butterscotch wrestles up enough courage to follow her feet. She leads herself directly to the gate entrance. Before she knows it, she is facing the guard. Her gaze locks and she secures a poker face, which is not as convincing as she thinks. Guard, state your business, girl. Butterscotch's face goes stark, she gulps so hard it looks like she swallowed a crab apple. She pauses and laughs nervously and begins to sweat. Butterscotch, scratching her head, ha ha ha, no business, sir. Actually, here to see a friend. Yeah. Am Master Vandergaard, sir. Guard. Master Vandergaard doesn't have any friends. Now state your actual business before I call back up. Butterscotch stuttering. No. I am here too. The Shadow Wolf slithers in a ring of haze and chilled air. Shadow Wolf, to see Vandergaard. You said it right, child. Now this man will show you to him. The same dastardly smile that slithered across the Shadow Wolf's aura haunted the guard. The smoke from the wolf seemed to seep into the guard's fur and gripped him up from the inside. The wolf charged up an energy that made the same sound as a hamster's nails sliding along a tin roof. And in a puff, he was gone. Butterscotch trembled in worry for herself and somehow for the Shadow Wolf. She thought to herself, who just put a spell on who? She turns like an old creaky door toward the guard, who turns stark white and still like death. As soon as this energy entered him, she saw it become an exorcist from the guard's vessel. The wolf appears only as a feeling next to Butterscotch and she hears a whisper. Go forward. As she charges forward, the same voice whispers a somber song to the guard. Shadow Wolf, you will forget that we were here, this you will obey. That is if you wish to live and see another day. Once Butterscotch takes the first step over the border, she is suddenly dusted off of her feet and swept into the sky. She folds into herself until she feels a support underneath of her. It is soft, and cozy. Like her old hut in the forest that she crafted from pincushion moss and soaked tree bark. Before mustering up the courage to open her eyes, she feels the wind on her face and begins to think to herself with a content smile, I am floating again. Shadow Wolf, close, yet not quite there. Not until you know how to control your true power. That's why we are going to Hedgeworth. Butterscotch opens one eye just enough to see her brave situation. They were soaring hundreds of feet in the air, going faster than life. The Shadow Wolf moving and shifting into all of these conceptions while Butterscotch stays completely center, as terrifying as this is to her. She drastically hesitates to let go of her grip on the Shadow Wolf, and therefore her reality. This is until she sees what is over the clouds. A monstrous castle that is more intact than any hut of any village she had ever seen. She looks up in awe at pink swirling sky, and she looks within to feel a familiar feeling coming over her. As they approach the castle, much closer to the earth, she marvels at the advanced architecture, and basks in the euphoria of a place such as this. Sounds of amazement were the only thing to leave Butterscotch's lips as the Shadow Wolf left her to be with this moment. Not much time passes before doubt decides to creep in. Butterscotch begins to picture gray clouds following behind the cotton candy skies. She then pictures her father, grabbing her down from the heavens, and dragging her back to her own personal hell. Her face returns to its unyielding grace. She finally finds the reason to break this peace, and speak. Butterscotch, what's with this Hedgeworth anyway? Why is this place so important? She says, while being hypnotized by its attraction. Although Hedgeworth was not as glamorous to its prior inhabitants, the Hamsters revered this place as a total utopia. You see, Hedgeworth's territory was won over, and it was quite a land to fight for. Fertile, full of hills and microclimates, completely oozing abundance. Where just across the border, plague fell onto the lands of the evolved. Some say it is because of the dead bodies that were buried there after the Great War. Others whisper about a curse that was casted by the enchanted. The actuality seemed to be that the evolved forgot the magic of nature, and how if they took care of it, it would take care of them. Shadow Wolf child, allow me to teach you the first lesson of many. Any place can be anything for anybody, at their will. What is the will of this place for you? Butterscotch, in confusion and dissonance, just keep going. Sits back with a pout of sure